already got to the parent.
Yep. Yep. You know
So
it.
what's going on?
I tell you, that's a way to start this Palms Up show. What is going on is exactly the question.
Exactly.
Because it's your girl. Do us a favor and share the link. And palms up out there, palms up to you all. Boy, I tell you, this weather is changing. But I tell you, them guns and them bullets are still in the air. And I tell you, we got something to talk about this evening. You recognize our guest, you should. She's Minister Madeline. They call her the homicide chaplain. I tell you, we're going to talk tonight, this evening, guys, on the Pump Show. As you know, we have been pressing the importance of us coming together as a community and using our voices and our power for good. Palms up. If you don't know by now, I want you to know that on Saturday, March the 9th, Volunteers of America, Chesapeake and Carolinas are hosting a spiritual colloquium at the Metropolitan Community Church of Washington, D.C. And we need you guys speaking it up out there. I know you're frustrated. Palms up. I know you guys are upset. Crime bill with this understanding. The press conferences are coming out. Boy, they talking good, don't they? They shovel a lot of it, don't they? So I'm telling you here on the Palms Up Show, we are putting action behind our words. We're asking you to join us and do the same. As if you have not already signed up for the Gun Violence Spiritual Colloquium that's going to be held on March the 9th, the Saturday, from 1 to 6 p.m. and sign up. www.voachesapeake.org/colloquium. Sign up. And if you're the type of person that likes to speak to somebody and get the particulars, details of what's going on, or get your agency involved, get our local young people involved. Guys, we're counting on you out there, palms up. You can call Chaplain Jules Christian at 336-419-7579. Palms up out there. And those of you that have been following the feed, you know it goes down this Thursday. We're not going to let this Black History Month get away from us without telling you guys that we've got to be down at the U.S. Capitol the last day of Black History, February the 29th. Yep, 2 days away. We're going to be in front of the U.S. Capitol on this Thursday at 10 a.m. Shout out to all of our beautiful families of dialysis. God bless our souls that we've lost. But while we're still here, we can fight, we can rally, we can speak up, and we can speak to our congressional leaders. If you want people to care about our issues, show up. But there are 2 exciting events in the next week or so that you can get yourself engaged in. On Thursday, you can show up at the U.S. Capitol and you can join the Healthy DCME Leadership Coalition as we rally to ask for reforms. And I say ask nicely, but rally means that we freedom fighting, right? We're not taking no for an answer. Guys, for the better part of 52 years, many families have been suffering on dialysis. In Ward 7 alone in Washington, D.C., we exceed the national average of folks that are dying with kidney disease by 44%. Guys, this is no surprise to many of you. You know, you see it going on. When will you learn your power? Your power is in your voice, palms up. And that's what everything this platform is about. We're about promoting issues in our community, rallying you so that you can show up, so that we can get laws changed. I know you don't like politics yet. This conversation, we're going to keep having this conversation. Because tomorrow, our children deserve a better tomorrow than where we are today. We're still fighting these issues in our community, educationally, economically, healthcare-wise, you name it. It's crime. It's crime. I'll let you in on a little secret. We're not going to be able to get to the bottom of it if our big mamas don't come to the forefront, if our community leaders don't come to the forefront. We have to do this because this is not about government. I mean, you're tired of seeing them go around in a cycle, in a circle, and not get the outcome that we Palms up. Don't talk about it, be about it. It's your girl. It's your girl. Hey guys, welcome back for another week. That's my 3-minute intro. Hey, Overseer, how's it going this week?
I'm loving the weather. I'm loving the weather. But I'm a little disappointed at the numbers of enrollment for these two great events that's taking place. But we always want to murmur. Now, all I got to say is some big artists coming to town and they can't get to Ticketmaster fast enough and blocking up your parking and everything. But when it comes to something to be real important to help you have a better quality of life, you silent. So, you know, if you're going to be silent, then just shut up. Don't call me no more.
Palms up, and that's the Overseer's intro. How about it? How about it? Guys, join me, please, and share the link as we welcome back to the Palms Up platform, Minister Madeline Long. Minister Long, thank you so very much. Palms up to you, all your dedication, all of your expertise, all of your commitment and dedication for something as serious as this gun violence. Welcome back to the platform. We can't. Can we hear you? Palms up. Give her a minute. We're working on some communication. You're muted.
So I'm unmuted.
There you are. There you are.
So I was saying I had a ball the last time. I had people calling me, telling me they did not know that I was going to cut up like that. And I had to put it on you and the Overseer. I said, you know, you guys, y'all know I don't do that. You know, I'm conservative. I don't do all that. I said they had me laying hands on people. I just, you know, I'm just being me.
That's right. We love you. We love you. Minister Matt, the last time you were on the Palms Up platform, you were sharing some insight with us as it relates to your work on the ground and all of what you do. Will you talk to us a little bit more in depth about this gun violence? And from your perspective, why do our community members need to show up?
Well, you know, Sunday I was sharing with the Overseer that I went to the church, to MCC DC. And one of the things I said about why I'm even participating, when I was a homicide chaplain in St. Louis, I wish we had something like this. We were doing 3 to 4 funerals per week. And I can remember that this was during the time when St. Louis was the murder capital. So I remember doing 2 or 3 funerals in one day. So to me, to have something like this where community can come together, where people of faith can come together, because we know that when we talk about the government's responsibility, and I shared this with the Overseer, it is not about what the government is going to do. It's about what can we do. These are our babies. I don't expect anyone to come in and take care of my community, especially when I know we have the resources. So it is sad that even a week out that we're still talking about enrollment. There shouldn't even be another seat available. It should be, you know what, we just don't have the space for people this year. But instead, and during a time when every day you turn on the news, there's a shooting.
That's the truth.
But yet we're still pushing to try to get people to sign up. The churches have not truly got on board with getting their congregation, their members to come. This is not an MCC DC event. This is a community event that Volunteers of America, along with MCCDC, has come together to do this, but this belongs to the community. And that's why I'm always afraid when we put an event in one church, because what I do know from being in the pulpit is when you put it in one church, then some churches was like, well, that's not my church and I don't know them and whatever. There should never be a time where we're talking about not supporting one another, because God has called us to be on one accord. So if we are to truly stop the gun violence in our community, We better get on one accord or stop talking about it. I'm like the overseer. Don't tell me another thing about it. I'm done. I don't want to hear it, because now we should be angry. Where's the call to action? Why aren't we angry about our babies? There was a toddler that was killed. If the enrollment didn't go up one day, it should have gone up on that day.
Absolutely.
The day that a baby with the mother was murdered for no reason at all. So we have got to get to the point where we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. But instead, we want to point fingers. I can remember a time when I grew up, the community got behind something. It had nothing to do with what the government was going to do or whatever. It was our community did this. So my purpose for coming on here tonight is I want to make an appeal to the community. We have got to get back to that. If we don't get back to anything else, let's get back to community where we care about one another.
That is so real. That is so real, Minister Mad. Why can't we get back to community and showing up for one another? The reality of when we come together, the power.
All we have to do is just come together as one. This is not about this church or this community group or that community group. The only difference is Volunteers of America decided to do it. But even though it wasn't another organization's idea or wasn't the police chief's idea, you mean to tell me we can't get behind it? What sense does that make?
Makes no sense.
You have people saying they don't even want to go out at night anymore. So you mean to tell me that that's not enough reason for you to say, let me do something?
Yeah, palms up. Palms up. What does it take?
What does it take?
The lives of our babies being lost, if that's not enough for them to come out, Minister Mad, that's a question. That's a question.
But we need to start calling the question. And we need to start calling the question with those that are in positions of leadership. Who are you leading?
That's
right.
And
where are you leading them to? That's my question.
Yes.
Because you're not leading them. If you're leading people and you have something as powerful as an opportunity where change agents are coming together to talk about making a difference, and then talking about what do we do after the colloquium.
Exactly.
That's enough for me, even if I wasn't a part of Volunteers of America. Ladies, if I heard that, I would want to go and see. I just want to hear. I want to know what are some of the things people are talking about.
Absolutely.
But instead, we're gonna sit home, we're gonna watch the news and say, oh, how awful. How is that serving you? How is it serving you?
Or we're gonna wait till it shows up on our doorstep, Minister Mad. And then we want everyone to rally around us because it happened to our loved one. And let's be clear, we're asking you to come out because we don't want it to happen to anyone else's loved one. Anyone else's loved one.
Let me share with you, woman of God. One of the hardest funerals I did was a mother, was a funeral of a young man that came home from college. He went to a basketball game with his younger brother. A fight broke out, and he was hit by one of the stray bullets. This young man came home from college to visit his brother. I will never forget the wailing that I heard of the mother, where they had to literally pick her up and carry her out of the church because she just could not, she couldn't even stand because that was her baby. And let's talk about the fact that a young lady who was a valedictorian of her class, her boyfriend was mad because she was going off to college. So he showed up at her house and murdered her. And I can go down the list. But what I always said was, I love God that you're allowing me to be on this side, because I count that as one of the greatest things I've ever done, because I was with people when they most needed to know that there was a God. However, I said, Father, what can we do to be preventative? What things could we do? Ladies, this is prevention.
Yes.
When you bring change agents in a room and you get to talk about different things that we can do to make a difference, to support law enforcement, not say it's law enforcement's responsibility to do all of the work. We need to be on one accord. It's going to take all hands on deck if this is to end.
Yes. Yes. You said some real stuff there. And like you said, it's going to take all hands on deck. But what does that look like out there, guys? What does it look like when we're continuously burying our loved ones? And as Minister Matt just mentioned, what is it going to take after our babies are dying and that's not motivating us? Our church leaders, our leaders in the community, guys, we've got to all do something. We cannot keep looking to government to solve these very complex issues. Exactly. You have to live in a community that you feel safe in. Our children have to be able to go to school and understand that they're going to be able to take that journey without worrying about being shot or seeing someone else shot. And let's talk about it. Gun violence is not always just about the perpetrator. Sometimes we got members in our community that are going through depression, matters of mental health. They're going through relationship breakups, you name it. Anything that would impact your emotions negatively enough that you would consider suicide, guys. These guns are out here and we're losing lives. What are we going to do as a community? And then we say, Minister Matt, oh, well, it pits us against one another. The folks that believe in having guns and using them properly and supporting their Second Amendment. And then on the other side, we've got the folks that say no guns at all. And it makes it hard to have the real conversation, the necessary conversation. Guns should not be in the hands of folks that are not qualified to have them. But you and I know that that's happening every day. Every day. We are talking about the Volunteers of America, Chesapeake and Carolina's spiritual colloquium on gun violence. We're speaking with Minister Madeline, who has the term, our dear term of homicide chaplain, because she's been out there on the ground, as you heard her say, counseling families when they need God the most. Guys, we're burying our community members day in and day out. The crime statistics are continuing to go up, and Minister Matt is here on behalf of Volunteers of America, Chesapeake and Carolinas, making a plea to our community leaders, our community members, our pastors, our chaplains. Everyone can take a stand and help us do something about the gun violence. Come on, Minister Matt, and I see you getting ready to share something else.
So, the other thing that I wanted to share was when you said the leaders, the church leaders, the organizations, schools. One of the things that I decided to do after leaving the church on Sunday was I started reaching out to the local colleges and universities. Because on Saturday, when I was leaving the church, we were driving past Howard University, and they were out and they had their signs and they were doing some type of community engagement event. And I gave them one of the flyers. And the moment that I gave it to them, they started sharing and talking. Guys, we need to get our young people. That's the groundswell. We need to get our young people involved. I mean, we're not, I truly believe that when all of the things were happening in the community around the police brutality, when you talk about Black Lives Matter, when I had an opportunity to go and see Freedom Plaza and I went down there and saw some of the young people, I was touched by the number of young people, and they were there. They weren't there starting and having, we're all young people always accused of, when you bring too many of them together, they, are disruptive or whatever. Ladies, it was none of that. These young people are so well informed. I had an opportunity to talk to a young lady. She is a senior at Georgetown University. And she's my goddaughter, actually. Her name is Talon. And the moment I shared it with Talon, the electronic version, Taylor started sharing it with the African American organizations on the campus.
Wonderful.
We have to get to them to be able to help them, because I think some of it is an assumption that when you hear something this powerful, that people will just come. Because to me, that's what I thought. I will be honest with you. I just said there's no way that people are not going to be on board. But when I left on Sunday, I left saying, what can I do? Because I challenged the congregation and I said, I want you to know that if you come on the 9th and you did not invite somebody, I want you to feel some kind of way.
Yeah.
I want you to feel convicted because you didn't do your part. When you had an opportunity, because it doesn't take anything. And now because of technology, ladies, we can text, we can forward, we can, it's so much easier than it was years ago. So when I left, I said, well, okay, if I'm challenging them, I got to challenge myself the same way. So I got on I started sending it out. And when she said, I will reach out to the African American organizations on my campus, I said, well, that could be all of the schools. They can reach out, and it doesn't have to just be the African American organizations or student groups, but it could just be the student groups. But I think that it's going to take us, and Rhonda, I'm saddened that we have to do this, but we're going to have to give people a why.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I thought just the opposite. You hear this, no brainer, common sense. But my grandmother used to say, common sense is not common.
Palms up to that, Granny.
Because if I saw something to say, something to end gun violence, when I'm turning on the news every day and there's a death, I thought that was enough. But you know what God is saying is it's not enough. You keep pushing until you guys get the numbers that you need so that you can truly make a difference the way that you want to make a difference. But I'm here to tell you that if there's only 2 of us in that room, and I already know it's going to be more than that because that's us right here. That would be just us.
Absolutely.
But I am bold enough to say, I know that even if it was just us in that room, that God's going to do something on that day. Do you hear me?
Absolutely.
God's going to do something on that day. So those that did not get into that room, you missed it, because it's going to happen in that room. Change will happen in that room. So if you're not there, shame on you.
Absolutely.
Some kind of way.
Thumbs up. And I'm so glad you said that. And I'm going to piggyback on what you just said and invite Overseer Coles to come in as well. But before I do, I want to give a shout out to our loyal folk out there. Miss Joanne, Denise Boykin, I see you commenting. Thumbs up to you, Queen. And you're right. We do. We have to reach out to our universities, our libraries, she's saying. He's also saying at the schools and the recreational centers. We got to put that call out. Shout out to you, Thomas Carpenter, Healthy DC, and me, Leadership of Tomorrow's Black Men. Absolutely. We appreciate you all. And we know you guys are sharing this word in your network, because we know on the ground that these types of services and community events are needed. So you talk about giving them a why, Minister Mad. I want to piggyback for a minute, because I know that our churches are holding services on Sundays in the middle of the week and all week. And I know that those doors should be open much more, because we are going through such an epidemic in our area, in this DMV area. We talk about us, for example, we're going down to the Capitol to speak with congressional leaders about this dialysis and the reality of the chronic kidney disease and the death. We're showing up. We've got this gun violence. America, the Carolinas is coming right down the lane on March the 9th to pull us together so that we can be able to show up for one another, show up for these families. They're not charging anything. The event is free. They are feeding us. They are helping us to prepare letters for common sense gun reform. Many of us, we do a lot of talking out there. Many of us race home for the 5 o'clock news. How about you race out to the community on Saturday and do your part so that your letter is among the letters that these congressional leaders will receive. Now, I'm going to go deep for a minute. You know, D.C., we're not a state, right? So we rallying all around. We want statehood and all this other good stuff. And then when the congressional leaders step in and they oversee the fact that, hey, you guys are not doing this right. Hey, you're not doing this right. We don't want them to engage in our day-to-day lawmaking. But when it's time to show up as a community, to send a strong enough message, that we can take care of matters of our house. We got to do more than talk about it. We got to be about it, because I saw a lot of people with their statehood t-shirts. Well, how in the world do you get to statehood when you got bullets flying? You got teams, sports franchises packing up and leaving. No one wants to live with this crime, nor should we. Guys, these issues are about our community, about our young people, about our troubled and unhealthy citizens. You can do something. They tell me there's a stigma around mental health, but it doesn't have to be. You're living in communities where you're walking past troubled souls every day. You have an opportunity to get in front of that, to be preventative. What are you using your superpower for? I know you look good on this social media. I see you on the gram. But when it's time to show up, where are you? Thumbs up. And I get it. If you're going to a church where your pastor didn't bring it to you, didn't make you feel accountable, didn't make you feel like you need to be dedicated and committed outside of those church walls, thumbs up. We're telling you that if you're in congregations where they're not leaning on you to do more about this gun violence in the community, do more about these unhealthy households in our communities, do more about helping to save troubled souls, then shame on you. What are you rushing out on Sunday for, to go get all gussied up, call on God, and God waiting for you to show up on Saturday? He waiting for you to show up for your community. And if everybody keep looking in the mirror talking about, yeah, I'm doing it, then somebody's not doing it. Exactly. Because we're not spilling out of these events. It makes no sense that we are front page on every other news channel for something bad, negative, and something degrading to our community. And then we have these puppeteer legislators. Yeah, I'm going there. You know what it is. You go down any community in Washington, D.C., they can tell you about how these folks are failing them in that office. You decide not to show up, you're not going to vote. 300,000 strong, not going to vote. Oh, you proved something there. You got something accomplished with that. Then you have the audacity not to show up for our children. Thumbs up. I'm just saying, if you're on that gram looking good, you ought to be on that gram talking about saving lives. It should be nothing more popular than showing up for our communities. And I want to do an extra plea to my big mamas out there. We need you knocking on them doors and asking folks, how fed up are they with the gun violence? Because if your only plan is to go home and lock your doors and be thankful that you made it in the day, you don't know what tomorrow brings. Why would you be waiting for it to show up? Guys, it's your girl, and I love you. I love you all. We are so dedicated to doing this work. 3 years we've been on this air talking to you about the importance of preventative understanding, the importance of being educated about matters of community and mental health, the importance about rolling your sleeves up and doing the work. Thumbs up. Are we going to see you on Saturday? I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. Will you be there? Will you be there with the troubled youth in your community? The way these phones are ringing, Miss Hamilton, we need. Well, if everybody's going to be a victim, how in the world are we going to get out of this? Amen. We've been to murder capital before. We know what this looks like. When you got bad leadership, you got to remove them. You got to show up. You got to speak up and stop being handled. Stop falling for the okie doke. They showing up giving you yesterday's solution when tomorrow's problem has already shown itself. We have no business still burying our children. We have no business being so quiet. We have no business being as unhealthy as we are as a community. We have no business having an 81 times wealth gap, and we're not shutting down traffic stops every day.
That's right. That's right.
So you can do something. And it's not always about money. This is a free event. Palms up.
Right.
So I'm giving an appeal out there to my Ward 8 folks, because Ward 8, we always show up ready for the fight, because we're always in the struggle. So I'm asking you to show up. What does organized chaos look like?
Exactly.
What does organized motivation look like? We need your voices. Volunteers of America, Chesapeake and Carolina has been in this community, been in our communities for over 128 years. They're serving this year, celebrating this year, I should say. A spiritual gun colloquium is wonderful. It's an excellent idea. We got so many churches where those doors have been closed through the pandemic. You got a brand new norm, and the brand new norm should include sponsoring, supporting, being committed to worthwhile community events. It's your girl, it's the Palms Up Show, and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. we go real to talk about some real stuff. It ain't always popular to be freedom fighting. But I'm here to tell you, one life lost is too many.
That's right.
Overseer Coles, will you unmute and come to the forefront for us? I know you got a message for us.
I'm just sitting here taking it all in, and when you talk about how many are registered voters and how many that didn't vote, that 300,000, that technically they voted because they didn't vote. So that's how the person got in. They fail to realize a no vote is worse than a vote. It just shows that you don't care. So that's why when they get back in office, they do what they want to do because they feel the citizens don't care. They didn't take the time to come out and voice their vote. And as far as these churches go, the problem is they don't have a vested interest in the community that they're building is in.
Speak it, Overseer. Speak
So
it.
see, when you don't have a vested interest in something,
Wow.
you can just go home and think no more of it. But you know, this crime is a terrible thing. But there's a part of me, see, this is Ward 8 in me now, that I'm glad it's now hitting the upper class neighborhoods now, letting them see that they are no longer exempt from this gun violence. That's the only good thing about it. But even then, they keep their mouth shut too. They seem to get protected. Again, it go back to we don't get involved enough. We don't get involved enough.
That's so true.
And I'm so sick of tired of hearing about, well, we got all these single family homes and they got, ain't nothing new about single family homes. Single family homes have been around basically since the beginning. But we came together back in the day. We have sat back, let the government pad our pockets, and now they have taken control of our community. That's the real deal. We've let them get too close to our homes. Now they got control over it, but it's time to take it back.
That's a word. That's a word, Palms Up. Let's talk about this. Now that we have your attention, and I thank all of our followers and our loyal listeners and viewers for sharing this link. Guys, March the 9th, community needs to come together. Volunteers of America has decided that we've got to be able to do more than feel sorry. We got to be able to do more than just pray. There's power in prayer, but also we know about faith without works. Palms up. And all I'm asking you guys out there, what are you doing on March the 9th? Why not gather up our children, gather up our community members? Why not deliver them to this event? Why not we all come together and talk about the beautiful memories and the legacies that we have lost as a result of this gun violence? Guys, we cut the TVs on, we ride by the communities, and you see the teddy bear vigils, you see the rest in peace shirts, and believe me, there's nothing more beautiful than to celebrate the memory of your lost one. But can you help us to help the next family not to have to go through that? Can we help to stop another member of your family from going through it? See, we got to get back to realizing that community is supposed to be about all of its people, And we can't get legislators to do what they're supposed to do because we're not doing what we're supposed to do, palms up. And I'm just saying, got to be able to have the tough conversations. And Minister Matt, let's talk a little bit. Maybe there's some folks that are ready to sign up, ready to go to the www.voachesapeake.org/colloquium and sign up. Maybe they're ready, but maybe they're just not clear about Volunteers of America, Chesapeake and Carolina's gun violence colloquium. Can you help them understand what they can expect when they show up on March the 9th?
Rhonda, I'm so happy you said that, because the first one thing that came to mind was, I remember when I used to host a breast cancer support group. And one of the things that a lot of the women that had not come to the support group said was, I don't do support groups because every time you come out feeling heavier than when you went in. That's something that really resonated as you were speaking, because I want people to know this is not an opportunity for people to come and do the oh, how awful. I would not have called us change agents if we're not in the room trying to effect change. So a lot of what we're talking about is to equip, to educate, and inspire the community, the faith community, on things that we can do to move to address gun violence. But I think that a lot of times when we hear such heavy things, like I did, breast cancer support group, I did domestic violence, I did sexual assault, child abuse, all of those things were heavy. But ladies, it's how we address it. It doesn't have to be, yes, I will never make light of any of those things. But at the end of the day, it's how we address it. And we're not coming together on the 9th just to get in the room and complain and to share the gory stories. This is an opportunity with an amazing organization. And I say that because there's a lot of attention that they pay to behavioral health. Not a lot of organizations are even addressing that. And so this organization, they're dealing with what would cause someone to want to take a gun and to shoot someone. They're talking about the mental health and what led to, or what is leading to our communities exploding like they are. Because in communities of color, we don't want to talk about mental health.
Don't we know it?
We don't put your dirty laundry out there. What people don't know is not your. But let me tell you something. You don't have to tell people about your dirty laundry, because if you're acting like you don't have good sense, they know that you don't have good sense. You don't even have to say that. Okay, so let's just say that right now. So all of this misnomer of people don't know you're crazy, they know. So you need to get some help. Let's just say that, okay? Because I think a lot of what's going on in our communities is we're walking around pretending. God can't help you. He can only help the real you, not the pretend you.
I like that. Palms up.
Okay.
I like that.
And that's something that I believe is going on in our communities. We don't want to deal with the real issues. We don't want to deal with what's really going on. And this colloquium is an opportunity for us to go a little deeper. And I have nothing against having those amnesty days and you bring the guns in and whatever. And I think that's wonderful. That's just one part of it.
Yes, it is. Just one part. That's right.
We need all of the parts. That's the only way that we're going to be able to bring an end to this. I cannot say it enough. I can never unhear, not erase the wailings at either the scene or in the church at the service, of having to talk to someone who their loved one left their home in the morning and didn't come home at night. This is not hospice.
That's right.
They left home with the intention to come home. They left home wanting to come home, and a stray bullet took their life. One of my cases was a lady just driving down the street. She just got caught in a crossfire.
How many times have we heard that, Minister Mad Palms Up? How many innocent bystanders have we lost to this senseless gun violence? And again, it's important that we show up so we can have responsible conversation. And I'm going to say it again, for my folks that are responsible, that do own guns, that obviously they feel that their Second Amendment right must be protected. We're not going against you all. And that doesn't mean that you can't still come out to support common sense reform, because no one wants to lose a loved one. And it should not be an extreme conversation where we're saying either or. What we're saying is, as a community, we're in trouble. As a nation, we're in trouble. This school violence, there should be no more acts of school violence, but to ensure that, we've got to show up and hold our legislators accountable. We got to put a veil of protection over our children, that God is at the center of.
Exactly.
So if you're showing up on Sundays, you know, and you are a person of faith, I'm asking you, why wouldn't you show up for your community? Isn't community supposed to be a part of your dedication, God and church?
Right.
Guys, I'm just saying, we got to talk about this stuff, and more than just talk, we got to show up. We got to show up. And so I'm asking you.
Rhonda, the thing that I also want to address is, I heard you say bring the children. They need to be in that room, because when I'm talking to young people, they're starting to feel like we're talking at them.
Exactly.
But they're not a part of the conversation.
Exactly. And that's dangerous.
They need to be a part of the conversation.
Absolutely.
Ladies, they know things we don't know. These are microwave babies. These babies came out ready.
Yes.
So the things that we're still talking about, they're way beyond that.
Beyond.
And so we need to bring them in. I want to hear from them. I want to hear what are some of your suggestions? What are some of the things you think we could be doing to support you? Some of our babies don't even want to go to school because they're nervous.
Yes. Yes. And they're afraid. They're afraid. You know, it's interesting. Fear will keep you from doing just about anything.
Yeah.
Fear will keep you paralyzed, living within as if you have no other options. Fear would allow you to believe that you're in this by yourself. And nothing could be further from the truth.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Because it's gun violence, you touched on something, Rhonda, that I don't think we've really talked about, because we've talked about the drive-bys and the random shootings. But when you have a gun in a home of someone that has given up, and then you have murder-suicides. So it's not just what's going on outside of the homes. This is one of the reasons why we must address mental illness and having guns in the hands of the wrong people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, I want to flip it for a minute, because oftentimes you touched on something as well, Minister Madden. Palms Up, and thank you so much for coming to the Palms Up platform to talk about this very sensitive matter. Because, you know, I understand that there are many out there that feel like my overseer and another meeting, what we're going to do. But the truth of the matter is, there are times when we have to show up, because we all have different experiences and exposures. So when you add your voice to the mix, it helps us to become further enlightened. As a matter of fact, let me read something to you. When Volunteers of America, Chesapeake and Carolinas, Chaplain Julie reached out and said, Rhonda, we'd love for you to, join us in our planning this. And I was so honored, because this is the work we do every day on the ground. And anything anything that I can lend my voice to, my presence to, my platform to help elevate positive outcomes in our communities. Guys, we've got to show up. Volunteers of America, Chesapeake, Carolina, when they put this together, they thought about the reality of needing to strengthen community, dialogue around this. See, all too often we go quiet, we go within. As Minister Mass said, we don't want people to know our business. Well, if you're struggling, if you're hurting, if you're grieving, if our children are lost, if you're in your home hungry, if you can't control your children because of whatever's got a hold of them, guys, it took a village for many of us. Why should that be any different today? It's going to take a village for us to come out of this. And even when we had our dear Marion Barry, God bless his soul, palms up, dear Marion Barry, we were murder capital of the world. We didn't fold up. We didn't fold up. We came through it. And the reality is every time we come through something, we're losing lives. We can do this differently from the lessons that we learned from yesterday. If you're not in the room to lend your voice, how are you going to help us understand it differently? How are you going to provide the clarity that we need to understand of what you see every day in your community? Have you even tried asking a young person? You'd be surprised if they said okay. Many of them are waiting for you to just ask. Guys, we can't write them off thumbs up. And they see us on the gram, and they see us not making the importance about these community issues above our own personal gain, then they feel like, why should they stop and pay attention? Are you an example out there? Are you passing a baton out there? Are you changing a life out there? When is the last time you had a conversation with a family going through gun violence? It's an awfully lonely, isolating space to be in, to bury your child. Do you know that in the immediacy of it, they got all the attention they need? But then after a while, a week, 2 or 3 weeks go by and nobody's around with a good word. And we're back to the same old problems. Guys, we got to change that. We got to change that. I want you to know that Volunteers of America, Chesapeake and Carolina are going to do a vigil. They're also going to do a walk, a spiritual walk. They want you guys to understand that the lineup of speakers that are showing up for this are showing up for the community. We have the memo. We understand the mission. We're ready. And we want to make sure that you're at the table. When is the last time laws got passed and you weren't included? When is the last time you called or showed up for a program and they told you you didn't qualify? You can change that just by showing up to the table. You can change the outcomes for so many young people just by being in the room. See, we got a lot of leaders out here on the community level. We got a lot of big mamas. We got a lot of church seniors and officials that understand the importance of getting involved. And we've got to start supporting one another, supporting one another's initiatives, our outreach. We're all speaking to the same audiences. We're all trying to save the same lives. Guys, it's time to come together, palms up. The word unity is in command. When will we get that feeling of unity back in the nation's capital? You know what they say about us. We're crabs in a barrel. We don't want to see nobody get nowhere and do nothing. You know what they say about us. Over here, east of the river, you know what they say about us. But I'm here to tell you, you can change that narrative.
That's right.
Matter of fact, I come up in a DC with pride. Pride. And right now, I'm very disappointed because when we put this information out, you guys should be running. You should be running to the rescue because our youth are going to listen to you, our everyday folks. They'll stop. They'll pay attention. They'll take heed, but not if you don't show up. The media, and every other person in between is telling our story. Are you okay with that? Thumbs up. I mean, really, are you okay with that? See, I know better. I believe better. So I'm going to share some information with you, and I'm going to ask you to share it with someone else. I challenge you to put it in your stories. I challenge you to tag me when you put it on your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your Nextdoor. Send it out through your Snapchat. To my pastors out there, I know your schedules are busy. You can't make it on March 9th, but does that mean everyone in your congregation can? See, you are a vessel. You are a vessel. And God holds us all accountable for being vessels. So I'm pleading with you guys out there to understand that these matters of community, if government knew how to figure it out, we wouldn't be here. We're in another election season, and they're talking about Trump, and they're talking about this local situation. Just about everybody know who they don't want in that office. But will you show up to make sure we get the right people in that office? And I'm giving you a personal plea, because I'm coming down that lane for 2026. And I'm going to ask you, don't talk about it, be about it. Don't look at me and ask me what I'm going to do different, like I got something to prove to you when you ain't did your part. Guys, it takes a village. And I'm going down there to elevate everyone in the communities that come from where I come from, and the communities that live where I live, and in the communities that care about the issues of people. We are failing as a city, and it is time to stand up and be accountable and tell our own stories, rewrite our own history, hold our children and our young people accountable. But we can't do that until we hold ourselves accountable. Thumbs up. Guys, it's your girl, and there's some real stuff we're talking about, so we're depending on y'all out there. On February 29th, we're going to be down at the U.S. Capitol. Come on and get a part of that congressional experience and find out how we really do this and how we really should be doing it. And then show back up on Saturday the 9th with the Palms Up platform as we show up. And you know we do and will, to make certain that our stamp, our brand, our commitment, our input is at the table. Guys, tomorrow's coming. And with tomorrow, we're going to get a whole nother set of statistics. Are you tired yet? Are you frustrated enough yet? Will you commit out there? Saturday, March the 9th, 1 to 6, meet us at the Metropolitan Community Church of Washington, D.C. They're at 474 Ridge Street Northwest. From 1 to 6 p.m., we're going to be there supporting this colloquium and standing there to support the families and the community members that say enough is enough. I don't want my children going to bed crying anymore. I don't want my children afraid to sleep in their room anymore. I don't want my children afraid to walk out the door anymore. Dr. Hamilton, Minister Mad, Chaplain Jules, Overseer Coles, Volunteers of America, Chesapeake and Carolinas, we stand with you. That's what we want you to do. Make a commitment to stand with us. It's not popular always to go out in the forefront. But history teaches us that there's always a select few that goes forward to make sure that we wake up the rest. So guys, palms up. That is my plea to my big mamas out there, to my community leaders out there, to my church leaders out there, to my returned citizen leaders out there. Who know better about gun violence than my folks coming out of those prisons that can preach and teach to our young people, that can drip on them and let them know where they don't want to end up. Let's change the narratives for our young people so it's not prison or death. Let's put that middle part in there where they have sustainability of life, where they're not fighting for economic understanding, where they're not educationally deprived, where they're not living with chronic kidney disease, diabetes from processed food, and not eating the way they should, and not having access to higher standards of living because you know this conversation comes up. So I'm asking you to join Minister Matt, join Overseer Coles and myself, join Chaplain Jules on March 9th. You've got time. You've got time to tell everyone about March 9th. We're going to be there, and we're going to be there representing for the community. Now, we would like you to be there, but if you don't, we're still going to be there. We're still going to do what we're supposed to do. We're still going to obey God's divine order for his leaders. And we're going to help to usher in a new understanding of what this legislative process needs to be. And to my gun enthusiasts out there who always like to talk about the Second Amendment, will you show up, please? Because you're accountable in this as well. If you want to see us get to responsible gun reform, so that you don't constantly have to live with threat or anger that someone's taking away your Second Amendment right, show up. Amen. Help us understand the human in you that understands the need for doing responsible reform. Let's change that extreme conversation to that middle conversation where we have opportunity to save our children. Because even you as a parent don't want to see the loss of your child's life. Bullets don't have a name on it. Amen. School violence is ripping through our nation, and we're constantly reacting instead of being preventative to assure that it doesn't happen again. We need your help to do that. Show up to the colloquium and help us get educated about how we do that responsibly. Thumbs up. Minister Matt, thank you for being patient with me. I just wanted to take a minute to go in and to support what you've shown up this evening to speak about, to support the reality that your experience has been so sad when it comes to families. You talked about at the top of the hour that wailing of that crying mother that you can't get out of your ear. See, there are so many in our community that knows about that. It's time to take that energy and harness that energy for good. It's time to uplift the legacies of all who we've lost in our communities. It is time to be defiant about the conditions in our community that would keep us burying our children and our guys. The website for the March 9th event, I got faith in you all. I know my palms up audience. I know we're going to see you in the house. And I want us taking pictures and video and everything else because it needs to become popular to show up at these kinds of community events. March 9th, www.voachesapeake.org/colloquium. And I know Chaplain Jules has put that link in our feed. I know she's provided the link for you all. Give Chaplain Jules a call, as a matter of fact, at 336-419-7579 and let her know why you'll be at the colloquium. If you got a gun violence story, please share it.
Exactly.
Don't keep it to yourself. Let us know about your beautiful family member. Let us know about your lost loved one. Let us know so we can uplift their memory as we carry forward to save lives tomorrow. Hey, Minister Matt, did you have anything else you wanted to share before we?
You know what, Rhonda? I just want to say thank you to you. Because when I tell you that you have been on the battlefield for your community, but you have been on the battlefield ever since Reverend Jules asked you to take the lead with this. You come to every committee meeting, making sure that we have a voice. And so, yes, what we hear from you tonight is a disappointment in our community because you've done your part. And that's what God calls us, do your part. Because as you said earlier, faith without works are what? Dead. So we don't need to keep talking about it. To your point, be about it. Be about doing something that's going to make a difference in your community. Absolutely. And I just have to applaud you because you never, ever, ever have you come short of excellence. That means everything, Minister Matt. Palms up. God bless you. God bless you.
I show up with
You
my
show
heart.
up. You
I
show
know
up.
that wailing sound in your ear, and I'm going to fight and keep fighting until we can save as many as we can.
My
and to be
God.
a platform for our big mamas to come back to the table. We have structure in our communities and our families, man. And that's how you do the work. I applaud you because you are such a beacon of light for those who really are feeling a way about this church community that hasn't rallied around them in this time of need. You know, about this church community that has not taken the lead and helped take us out of here. Our leaders of yesterday, they would be right here. And
Yes, they
now
would.
we're begging them to come out when they would
Right.
already be at the table.
Right, right. But
So
you know, I do want to say this. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised at all that our church leaders are shying away from addressing gun violence. Because as a homicide chaplain, I would have so many pastors, and I was an associate pastor at the time, that would say to me, I don't know how you can do that stuff. And what I would say to them, I don't know, I need you to clarify. When you say you don't know how I can do it, tell me, what do you mean? Because I knew what they meant. I just wanted them to say it. Because it's easy to get into the pulpit and want to do the hoop and the holler and all of that. But what about your community? God calls us to take care of the community of his people. That's our first mandate.
Yes.
Because the Bible is already there. So all of that you think you need to say on Sunday is already there. We need to be about our Father's business. That's what he says.
Yes.
And so I'm not surprised that our leaders, our church leaders, aren't showing up, because I had too many of them tell me, I don't know how you can do that kind of stuff. And I count that as one of the greatest things I've ever done, because I know that that person can't see a God when their loved one didn't come home.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank you for what you do. And thank you, overseer, because this is the work. This is what God calls us to do, ladies. This is it right here. We're doing the work.
This is it.
It's not showing up on Sunday with a cute outfit on.
Palms up now. Palms up. Mr. Matt, you the bomb diggity.
Y'all know I love you, right? So you know, after this one, they're gonna say again, Minister Matt, we didn't know that you act like that. I'm conservative, ladies. Y'all bring this out. Dr. Hamilton and Overseer Coles, I'm making an appeal. They are the ones that bring this out of me, guys. I am typically very mild-mannered. I don't bother anyone, but they bring it out. That's why I love to come on them with them, because I think this other side of me wants to come forth a little more. So I'll be on more often. We're not going to just leave it here at gun violence. I'm coming back on.
You come from the part of town that we come from, Ward 8, Southeast. We got to make sure that people.
Oh, wait. You know I came up in Ward 7, so don't even act like that.
Oh, you got it.
You already know. Fort Davis, right off of Alabama Avenue.
Yeah,
don't get me started.
You know, we got to get a little street sometime.
That's right. Don't get me started.
We got all kinds of coop.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
And
act like you know, and don't be so proud about yourself.
Exactly.
Word up, arms up, and all of that. Come on now, when you live long enough, you're supposed to know it's about
you. Exactly.
Leaving your mark.
Exactly.
You're gonna leave here. Somebody tell them why don't they? Overseas. Come on now, I ain't no best, and I just like me overseas. So get on up out of here, palms up.
Wow. Y'all is off the chain.
We can go there.
Oh my goodness. That's what happens when you have Ward 7 and Ward 8 on
You're
the same
it's a party, right? It's a party. And it's time for Ward 7 and Ward 8 to come back. In this great city that we got 8 wards. And all of them matter. All our children matter. All our lives matter.
All of them. All their lives matter. That's right.
Yes, that's it. That's it. I'm going to be mellow in our closing today. You know, that when you talk about that welling cry, that's something That's deep. That's deep in the person's belly. That you can't do not even the meanest person. When you hear somebody wail,
My God.
it touches you. It touches you. And that's what's happening right now. Our city is wailing.
Yes.
And our leaders are failing us. Government and spiritual. We just left out here to fend for ourselves, it seems like.
Jesus.
And the result is violence.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that, Overseer, because, you know, I'm closing the colloquium. I'm preaching at the end. So when you said our city is wailing, I just want you to know that resonated with me. Because that's where we are. Because if you've ever heard a person wail, you know there's a difference between wailing and crying. So thank you for that.
Awesome, awesome. Hey guys, it's your girl, and I know we went a little over, but you know, sometimes when you run and stuff, you can do that kind of stuff. So I thank you all for being patient enough to allow us to get this word out. I'm asking you guys to share this link far and wide. I'm so excited and honored to be introducing Minister Madison at the Gun Violence Colloquium. You like this down home, straight up real, conversation and this understanding that there are going to be people in that room that are just like you, fed up, frustrated, and trying to understand how we can do this better and be better, then we expect to see you on March the 9th at the Colloquium. Again, it's March 9th. It's at Metropolitan Community Church of Washington, D.C., and it's going to be from 1 to 6 p.m. And March 9th is a Saturday. So you've got plenty of time to get other folks engaged and to get on out there. Volunteers of American Chesapeake and Carolinas, what I know about their events, we supported their their mental health GOAT event at the University of Bowie State. And I'm telling you, it was a fabulous time. And they fed us for free then as well. So I need you guys to know on Saturday, you ain't even got to worry about eating. By the time you get up, get dressed, get everybody round up, you guys show up to the colloquium, you have opportunity to eat, have opportunity to network, have opportunity to bring your beautiful loved one's memory and to be able to have a day of support. And before you get out of there, you get to do a vigil, a spiritual walk, and you also get to prepare your letter to the legislator, letting them know why you believe this gun violence should end, letting them know about the lost life that you have had to bury and why in their namesake, this needs to be something that we deal with immediately, palms up. So guys, it's your girl. If you're ready to get a head start on that freedom fighting, we see you Thursday down at the U.S. Capitol. We're going down to speak with Representative Waters' office, the Representative James Crow office, and we have a wonderful, wonderful guest of honor, Congresswoman Katie Porter, who has also agreed to speak with the group to help us understand from our perspective. See, what we've got to do is start showing up in all places, letting these lawmakers know what it looks like through our lens. That's why we need your voice. It's your girl. I'm trying to lead by example. I ain't talking about it without being about it, palms up. Because these guns and this violence has to end. And we can't do that without you. Will you come and be a part of our village? Will you give Chaplain Jules a call right now and say that Dr. Hamilton said that I need to join the village? I need to figure out what I can do. And I promise you, she got a place for you. 336-419-7579 is Chaplain Jules' phone number. The link is all over our page. Also, you can go to www.voachesapeake.org/colloquium.org. It's your girl. You heard from the overseer. You heard from the homicide Minister Matt. You heard from your girl. I guess there's nothing to do but to tell you to see about it. Thumbs up. Until we see you guys again, love on one another, love yourself, and we will see you next week. Palms up. Thanks for sharing. And shout out to our beautiful Lacey, our very loyal watcher. I see you. I see the comments. Palms up out there. We love you guys. Bye-bye, ladies.